Okay, so channel update, and I'm addressing the lack of channel content the last week or so. And as you can tell from my voice and my nasal head cold, I'm still not 100%. For those that watched the two FA Cup match reviews that I did on Sunday, I was in the full throes of we're fighting a flu virus here. Um, Monday and Tuesday at my main job were brutal. So Monday and yesterday were absolutely brutal. Today, better. Still not fun. Still not 100%. Not going to lie. It's been a horrible week. Horrible week since last Thursday. I started feeling a little bit under the weather Thursday last week. Friday, battle through work, and on the way home I just went, I feel crap. And then got in, and then within an hour and a half, 2 hours of getting in, I was asleep, gone. I was with the fairies. Saturday and Sunday were horrible. Saturday I was in bed all day. People go, oh, you got man flu. No, I was actually really not well. Sunday, I was actually worse than Saturday, but you know, managed to get 2 videos up because the way the sport works out Sunday was actually a little bit better actually than Saturday. Saturday, because I couldn't sleep very well, woke up early, started watching the NRL games, fell asleep, woke up, and then the 12 hours of Sebring started. And I just went with the 12 hours of Sebring. Didn't bother with the FA Cup games. Didn't bother with the Six Nations games because A, I'd have to have missed one of the 5 matches, and secondly, that the turnaround between match finishing to match starting would not have left me enough time, with how ill I was and how bad I was coughing and actually throwing up as well, to actually get a video up, as in recorded, uploaded and processed onto YouTube before the next one started. And then of course there was a clash between an FA Cup game and a Six Nations game, and there was a bit of an overrun there, so it just wouldn't have worked for how I like things to go in regards to uploading content. So I decided to go with the 12 hours of Sebring that was running at the same time as those 5 matches, and I didn't get through that. And yes, I was drinking a lot of caffeine and also drinking a lot of water and a lot of fruit juices and other soft drinks that weren't caffeinated, like Fanta and things like that. I was drinking a lot of fluids, making sure I was hydrated, and I was sweating it all out, and I just couldn't get through that. And I'm well renowned, and I'm quite proud of this, that I can get through the whole 24 hour of Le Mans, watch the whole race, the whole 24 hour of Daytona, watch the whole race. Done that multiple times for both races, and couldn't get through 12 hours of Sebring. And that shows how ill I was, because I pride myself in the fact that I can sit through a multi-hour endurance race, and I couldn't do it. So I missed about a third of the race. So out of a 12-hour race, I managed to get just about 8 hours done in total that I managed to watch, but fell asleep a couple of times, zoned out, came back into it. Nah. So I'm watching the full race replay on IMSA, and I still keep missing bits. I still keep falling asleep, but that's life. I'll probably do that the rest of the week, try and watch the full race. Fun. But just a bit of jokes aside, I'm actually going to end on a humorous note. I will say this before I end on the humorous note. Channel's not going anywhere. I'm still going to be making content. I've just been under the weather. But humorous note. Now, if you know your cars, the best way I can describe the chesty cough that I have now is a second-hand Skoda Favorit. Now, for those that don't know how bad Skoda's reputation used to be, these were not the most reliable cars made in the 80s and 90s, and they weren't the most attractive cars made in the 80s and 90s, and they weren't also the best build quality in the 80s and 90s. Skoda Favorits were really cheap, really unreliable, although the engines could actually go a bit, but there were issues, mechanical issues, and they used to rattle themselves to pieces. My chest, as I say, sounds like an old second-hand Skoda Favorit. It's rattly a little bit when I cough. Trying not to cough right now, which is really hard to do. That's the best way I can describe my chesty cough is a Skoda Favorit. They were really ugly cars, and they were really unreliable. It just and especially the diesel model. I mean, the diesel model. I mean, the engine would go. I mean, the engine was a goer, but other mechanical bits to the cars would fail, like the gearbox, and the gear linkages, and then the electrics, and then it would misfire. Then the timing chain or the cam belt on the petrol model, they weren't great. That's what and so yeah. And for those in North America who don't know what Skodas actually are, they're really reliable cars. They're basically Volkswagens with a Skoda badge on it. They're built in a very modern factory. They're brilliant cars now. They've got a great rally pedigree, all that kind of stuff. But back in the days of communism, in the former Czechoslovakia, which is now the Czech Republic and Slovakia, although Skodas are made in the Czech Republic, in Ostrava, Skodas were just not great. They were like Yugos made in Yugoslavia. Skoda, Yugo, very similar. Ladas in Russia or Soviet Union, they weren't famed for their safety, reliability and build quality. They were dreadful, and as you can tell from my voice and my cough, that's basically what they sounded like. They were terrible. So I thought I'd leave that on a slightly humorous note, but fear not, the channel's not going anywhere. But when I've got to also factor in, on a serious note, full-time job, and this not making any money. If this was making me money, in fact, if this was making me more money than my full-time job, then chances are I would have tried to battle through and get at least some content up on the channel over the entirety of last week. But no, yeah, just because my full-time job is my breadwinner, it keeps a roof over my head, and this is just a hobby right now until we can actually get to revenue-making stages and actually reaching those thresholds. Because, as I say, my main job is my income earner. You know, my day job. I've got to put that first. And work policy states the first 3 days of sick leave you don't get paid, and I can't afford to take sick days. That's where we're at. And there's no knock on the company's policy. A lot of companies have that policy, and at the moment, 3 unpaid days leave. I can't afford that. Now, in a couple months' time, that situation could be completely different. But at the same time, I've also got to factor in that work may take a dim view. If I go, I'm not well enough to come in, but I make content on here, and someone in management accidentally stumbles across my channel and goes, right, so you were like on death's door, were you, for the period of how are you doing this then? Why are you it doesn't give a good look. So I had to factor that in as well a little bit. But you'll notice anytime I'm ill and I either take time off work or even go into work while I'm ill, no content gets posted on the channel. But I will do an update saying apologies, been unwell, taking a few days off. That's basically how taking days off making content. But yeah, as I say, we're getting better, not as bad as we were. Chesty cough's still here. It's that time of year. The weather hasn't helped with it being, slightly above average temperatures and very, very damp. We've had a lot of rain over the last 9 months. So all the way from summer through till now, from July last year till now, the weather's been atrocious. So yes, the famous British weather's basically been famous for it's rained a lot. In fact, more than normal. And I had a chesty cough over the summer when it was damp. I had one before Christmas, I had one over Christmas, and now I've had one just before Easter. So I've had a few chesty coughs. The weather's had an impact on that. Damp, humid conditions are not great. And it's been, 15, 16 degrees today, and it's been really muggy, very close, damp air. Not great when you're battling a chesty cough, mild chest infection. Not pleasant. But there we go. So channel's not going anywhere. Just have to take some time. Just really being, as they say in Australia, pretty crook, not 100%. Feeling a lot better, still not 100%, but we're getting there. Hopefully this chesty cough does clear up. But I'm still here, and I've still got my sense of humour. So there we go. Thank you very much for sticking with the channel. I understand the frustrations with some, and those who will unsubscribe, and those who will be like, oh, what's going on? I do understand the frustrations that some viewers and subscribers have, and I completely understand that. But sometimes you just got to take a bit of time. You just got to take some time, and yes, it does in the short term hurt the channel's growth and view counts and subscriber counts, but sometimes a bit of self-care is necessary, even though I didn't take sick days from work, which I potentially should have done just to make sure I'm 100%, but I'm not that type of person. I will keep going until literally my legs drop off. Whether that's good or bad, ethic to have is a separate debate. But there we go. But anyway, for me for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll have obviously content for you very, very soon. There is a lot to discuss, and we hopefully, if Chesty-Cough permitting, live stream this weekend. There's a lot to discuss, and there's some evolving sports stories that I think will have more meat on the bones come the weekend, and we'll have a better idea of where certain issues are heading. But for me for now, thank you very much for watching, and I'll have content for you very, very soon.